guys, so another week has passed and I'm here yet again for a weekly wrap-up of all the books I read. Before I get into the books, I thought I'd talk briefly about my week. My week started off pretty rough because the state of North Carolina is opening up on May 8th, and my office where I work has also decided to go back May 8th. And I was kind of irritated with that because at least right now in North Carolina, the number of coronavirus cases are doubling every 2 weeks is what I was last seeing. And so the company that I work for, they actually are partnering with another company to find a cure for the, not a cure, but a vaccine for the coronavirus. And so you would think that they would, I don't know, take their employees into consideration and their health, but yeah, they're not even going to be requiring masks when you're working in this like big corporate office with like hundreds of people. So I'm like, eh. But luckily, towards the middle of the week, I got an email from my boss saying that at least, oh, there's Winnie, she's gonna climb up here. I could have stole her chair. But my boss said, like, you know, at least our department isn't going to be going back until at least at the earliest, the beginning of June. So yeah, I'm glad that at least my boss is being considerate, and so yeah, that was good. I mean, yeah, so it's a really nice day out here, and so I wanted to film out here. I was gonna go over at the picnic table so you can see like being surrounded by trees instead of this one tree here, but there's people like strung up with hammocks like on the trees, and so because everyone wants to enjoy this really nice like summery weather. But yeah, onto the books. Hopefully there won't be too much of a glare of being outside. But the first one I read was Kitty and the Tiger Treasure. It was written by Paula Harrison and illustrated by Jenny Lovely. I love that last name. And this is a children's like chapter or picture book. It's more of a chapter book now, I'd say, a picture book. But it's the art style is similar to this cover. And the main character is a superhero who has powers of a cat, and so she can walk along the roof here and has like a cat sensitive powers. And she has a sidekick named Pumpkin, and there's a couple other cats who are helping her out. And they're on the case of at first they want to go see a tiger treasure statue, but when they get there, they find out that it's been stolen, and so then they're on the case to find out who did it. And so yeah, this was a cute little quick read, and yeah, I've never heard of this author before or anything. I don't normally tend to read chapter books, but I was just looking at my library, like they have like those skip the line borrows, like where you, instead of like putting a hold on it and waiting weeks and weeks, you can get it like right away. And so I saw this, I was like, why not give this a go and check it out, because I do occasionally like reading like children's books. So yeah, this was really cute. This was the second book in the Kitty series. I haven't read the first one, but yeah, the art style was really nice. And then I read Would Like to Meet by Rachel Winters, and this was a really nice romantic comedy. I'm just checking the names here so I know who the characters are. Okay. So you have you're following Evie, who she is working in the film business, and so she is being an assistant to the screenwriter who has had what seems to be writer's block. And so she decides to help prompt him to write and give him ideas. And so she decides to create in real life through her own experiences of, they're called meet cutes, which I didn't know that terminology. But like these instances, like in a coffee shop where you spill something on a guy, and then you laugh it off, and you become boyfriend and girlfriend, and you have a relationship, that kind of thing. And so she instigates all of these different meet cutes, and she writes about them and then emails him to give him some ideas. And so yeah, that's the main gist of the story. I don't want to give anything away with what happens, but yeah, this was really funny. I was laughing out loud throughout this whole book, and it also gave me like a watch later list, because it references many rom-coms. And so like especially right now, I want to watch some rom-coms. So yeah, if any of you have any suggestions for me, that would be fantastic, because I as much as I am a book reader, I am very much behind on any kind of like movies or TV shows. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, feel free to put them in the comments below, and I'll watch them. So yeah, anyway, yeah, this was just great fun. And then she has a kind of combative relationship with her boss in a way that she's helping him out because her job is on the line, and she needs to helping produce the screenplay because if she doesn't, then her job was on the line. What does that say for her as an assistant? And then all the people she meets, and it was just a really, really cute story. I then read Undercover Bromance by Lisa K. Adams. It's the second book in the Bromance book club. And this is following Liv, who was mentioned in the first book. And she is working as a chef, and she gets fired. And so, but she has a very bad manager. And so she is wanting to get revenge on him. And so she has a relationship with, is Malcolm, is his name? Is that right? Mac. Braden Mac. Okay, yeah, that's his name. So Braden Mac is part of the Bromance book club. And so you get the old crew back from the first book. And so, it was nice fun to follow them along. And, but yeah, overall, I like the first one better than this one, just because, there's a cat hair flying by, or something flying by, because Liv, I didn't like her in the first book, and in this one, she never completely grew on me. Like, I didn't really believe that, of the love interest between them. I believe, like, the guy, could fall in love with her, because he had, like, valid reasons, but for her, I don't know, I didn't believe it on her side, just because she was, like, very kind of like a prickly person, and I don't see her, like, letting go of things, or, like, tearing down those walls to let someone in, but yeah, overall, this really focused on, her being able to turn down those walls and let him in, and then also her bad relationship with her boss. And so I like that storyline kind of, but it wasn't as light of a book of a plot line that I wanted to read when coming to this kind of book, because it dealt a lot with, like, sexual harassment and some very serious topics. I mean, those can be done in these books, but it isn't what I came to this book for, if that makes sense. So maybe I just read it at the wrong time. I'm not sure. I then read The Duke and I. This is the first book in the Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn, and I picked this up because I saw that, I think it's on Netflix, there's going to be a show, and so I thought, now's the time to check this out. And this book went by very, very quickly. This is following Simon and Daphne, and I really liked this little description here. It says, "Can there be any greater challenge to London's ambitious mamas than an unmarried duke?" And this it's the Lady Whistledown Society papers. So each chapter, it opens up with this, like, kind of gossip column, and it kind of introduces you to what the following chapter is going to be about. And see, that was, like, my favorite part of this, was, like, the quippy, like, gossip column that you're reading about. But Simon is the Duke, and so he's much sought after, and he's a bachelor, and so he proposes the idea to Daphne that, let's pretend that we are in a relationship, just so I can get all of these mothers and daughters who are hounding me off my back. And then the relationship ensues with them two, because Daphne is part of a really large family, and the mother, it kind of reminded me of Pride and Prejudice, how the mother is like, come on, I need all y'all to get married, and so then I don't have that weighing on me as well. And so yeah, I liked the idea, and I really liked how it was the guy who came up with the idea of having a fake relationship, because all the books that I've read that have a fake relationship, it's always been the woman who proposes that idea, and so yeah, I thought that was unique. But overall, the series, this book, everything happened really, really quickly. Like, they were having a fake relationship one chapter, and then the very next chapter, she was already in love with him, and you didn't really see the build up to that. You just kind of like were told, like, immediately, like, blink of your eye, okay, now she loves him, and then the next one, now they're gonna get married. And so it was like very, very, very quickly it happened, and so I wasn't invested in either one of these characters because of that. But there was a lot of, like, background characters that I really liked. The mother, Violet, especially towards the end, when you got to see more of her. I really liked her commentary. And then also the sister, Hyacinth, she was real funny. I think she was, like, the youngest sister. I think she was, like, 10 or 12. And so I really liked her comments. So, like, I might, like, skip ahead to her book, and maybe the mother has one as well, and see what happens with her. But then I was looking at the series, and I actually did a buddy read with with a commenter who used to have a YouTube channel, so maybe she'll come back. She was saying how she looked at the series and how this is like one of the more unpopular books, or more badly reviewed compared to the rest of the series. So maybe this was just like, the first book was bad, but then maybe going on, I'll like it better, because I know this is a popular series. So yeah, I'm for sure gonna check out a Hyacinth story. So yeah, there is that one. I then read Winter at the Beach. This is the second book in the Moonlight Harbor series by Sheila Roberts, and I read Moonlight Harbor, or something like the first book in the series last month, and so I wanted to continue on, even though this is a Christmas story. And this is, let me look at the names of the characters. Okay, Gina. Gina is working at this motel that was given to her by her great aunt, and now that she's got it renovated and she's ready to have some customers, the winter season starts, and they are at a beach in Washington. And so it's very cold, and so they don't have like that Florida or like Southern California continual like tourist season. And so she decides to, in order to generate some people coming in, to host a Christmas winter festival. And there's like hilarity ensues because there is a huge storm, which is very common, especially in Washington, way up north during the winter. And so there's lots of wind and rain, and so there's they get rained on, their parade gets rained on, and so yeah, this is following her struggle with generating some clients, and also her she's like a love triangle in a way with these two men, because she has in the first book it introduced her as newly divorced, and so she's kind of like jaded a bit, and so then now she's like she's more inclined to date, but she still doesn't. She kind of keeps both of them at arm's length. So I don't know if it's exactly a love triangle. I don't know, but yeah, this is cute. Now I'll for sure continue on with the series. I think the next one's gonna be a summer book, and so yeah, I'll be out of the winter season. It'll more suit this weather. I then read a murder mystery. This is 8 Perfect Murders by Peter Swanson, and I've never read anything by him previously. But this, let me see if I can get the. Okay, this is the Malcolm I was thinking of with the Undercover Bromance. So this is it's following Malcolm, who is a mystery bookstore owner, and it's told through his perspective. And there's an FBI agent that comes knocking one day because he has written a blog, and so one of his posts was about 8 perfect murders that he thought were conducted in different books that he thought were well done and were considered the perfect murders. And the FBI agent is coming to him because they notice that I don't know how exactly she finds out, but that all these murders that are happening recently are following his blog posts, like all these books that he's referenced, the different methods that the books were using. And so it follows that. And he is like an unreliable narrator, and you find out more about him as the story goes on. But I thought this was it was very, very slow for a mystery or like a thriller, especially with thrillers. I like a more fast-paced and action-packed book. And this one, it just dragged and dragged and dragged. And I didn't like the main character at all, and I was also suspicious of him from the very, very beginning. And yeah, this just didn't do it for me. And also, if you don't want your mystery books spoiled, this spoils quite a few famous mysteries, popular mysteries. And so yeah, keep that in mind going in if you don't want to know what happens to some of those mysteries. But yeah, overall this was it was just a dud for me. But I think maybe it's an unpopular opinion. I don't know, because I've seen it on BookTube. Several people really like this book, but yeah. Teach their own. I then read One Perfect Summer by Brenda Novak, and this was the first book I read by her. And yeah, I just love this cover. And when it opens up, it's following I think her Serenity. She is driving from the Bay Area to Lake Tahoe. And when she was describing it, like I've done that drive many, many, many times. I was living in like the Gold Country area, like north of Sacramento, and so I was about like 45 minutes from Lake Tahoe, and so I'm very familiar with the drive of going to Truckee or Donner Lake and Lake Tahoe, and just that whole environment of like the different parts of Lake Tahoe. Like the South Lake Tahoe is like very much party area. There's lots of casinos, and then the north part of Lake Tahoe is like a lot more like the vacation homes and cabins. So yeah, that was nice to read about. It makes me miss home a bit. But this is following three sisters. You have a Serenity who she is from the Bay Area, and then you have let's see, Lorelai, who was in foster care, and she had a struggling childhood, and then you have Reagan, who she was raised by a single mom, and she works at an advertising firm, and so each of them have relationship problems. And so anyway, how they're all related is they take a DNA test and come to find out that they're all sisters, and they were all raised like Serenity was part of a family. She didn't know that she was adopted, and then you have Reagan, who was raised by a single mom, and then you have Lorelai, who was in foster care, and so they all come to find out as adults that they are related through taking a 23andMe test. And so they all come together, and they all like help each other out in trying to figure out what's going on with each of their relationship problems. And they're all because they're coming from different backgrounds. They're all coming with different issues. And I don't want to give anything too much away with what's happening with their relationships, but I'll say I really like this story. I liked how they're all the camaraderie. And I liked how like kind of complex each of their background stories were with their relationships with their husbands or boyfriends or what have you. So yeah, I don't want to give anything away, but yeah, I like this one. It was like a really nice summer book, and I really like this cover. I then read The Good Ones. This is the first book in the Happily Ever After series by Jen McKinley, and this is following Maisie, who, and I really like this cat. I like the cat more than I like the cowboy. This is following Maisie, who it's her grandmother or her aunt who died, and left it to her aunt. Okay. Her aunt, has this old, like, Victorian house, and she has basically been a hoarder. She has hoarded millions of romance books, she describes how you walk in the house, and the big Victorian house, and how there's a little hallway through, and everything else is books everywhere you look, and they're all romance novels. And so Maisie decides when she inherits it to turn it all into a bookstore, and to kind of share her love of romance, and to honor her aunt. And so she pulls in Ryder here. He is an architect. And the cowboy part is because he is from Texas, and this is taking place in a small town in North Carolina. And so he has that cowboy Texas background, and so he's an architect, and he's helping her fix up this place because she wants to add on and make it more Victorian and all that. So there's the relationship. I like this book, okay, but I didn't love it because he has it's good to have as as a business owner. You do not want to have relationships with your clients, and he thinks that and says that from the very beginning. But he's tempted, and they do have a relationship, but there's constant like back and forth, like should I, shouldn't I have a relationship with her, and that got very annoying, very tiring, because it was mentioned over and over and over again. And so yeah, that was just a bit much. But I like the idea of the story, and I like how in the beginning, before you got into the book, the acknowledgments was talking about how Jen McKinley was inspired to write this story because she visited Rip Bodice or something. It was a romance bookstore in, I think, Los Angeles that's dedicated entirely to romance stories. And so yeah, I liked how what the inspiration behind it was. I then read On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden, and it was a graphic novel, and I know I have really unpopular opinion because like the ratings on this is like 4.24, so not many people didn't like it, but this was just not for me. I didn't like the art style. This doesn't really exactly show it, but each chapter only had like 2 or 3 colors per per chapter, and just the overall vibe of it was very dark, and I had a hard time with the cast of characters because it's going back and forth in time. I had a really hard time identifying who was who because they all looked really similar. Some of them did, so it was really hard for me to identify who they were. And then also, oh, it went black on me. Okay, there it goes. Hopefully you can see me. It just, my screensaver turned on. Yeah. So anyway, the overall story is following what's her name? Mia, who as an adult she's traveling in space, and she's working on rebuilding these structures. And she has a group of friends that she's with, and then it's flashing back in time to when she was in school, and she was falling in love with a fellow student. And then one day the student leaves, and she's devastated by that. And every character in here is a woman. There is no there's no men or boys, because this is considered like a utopia. So that I didn't. I mean, I know that can be done in a story, but yeah, I wish that it was more well rounded. I don't know, but yeah, this overall I didn't really care for it. It dragged. It's like a 500 something pages, 533 pages, and I thought it could have been cut in half. Especially at the beginning, it was very, very slow, and nothing, for some chapters, nothing happened at all. It was just lots of like unnecessary dialogue and unnecessary scenes, and so yeah, it missed the mark for me. But yeah, I don't know if you take my word for it, because yeah, this seemed to be very popular. But maybe it's like when I read comics, I like lots of color, and I like and with the drawings, the art style for them, like I easily tell who's who. But yeah, I don't know. This just wasn't for me. I finished up the week reading Sunrise on Half Moon Bay by Robin Carr. And let's see, get the names here. I should understand the names for this one because there's only like 2 main characters. So you're following Adele and Justine. And Adele has spent most of her life taking care of her elderly and ailing parents. And now that they have passed on, she is looking to reinvent her life, find herself, and figure out what she wants to do now because her life has been on hold for so long. And then you're following Justine, which is her sister. They're 20 years apart, and Justine is the older one. And Adele has always looked up to Justine because she's always had her life together, and she is a successful lawyer. And then her husband tells her one day, I'm not in love with you anymore, and I've found a new woman, and I'm moving on. And so Justine is left kind of like with the fallout because she has been the main breadwinner, and she's put a lot more time than she's wanted to in her career just to be able to earn money for her family. And then she also has daughters to take care of. And so yeah, it's following her storyline. And yeah, I really liked the story. I liked how in depth you got with really knowing the characters, and made it feel like real people, if that makes sense. And I liked how for Justine, who she's dealing with, her marriage dissolving, it doesn't end. It makes it very believable how she moves on, and she's a very strong-willed, independent woman, and how she doesn't really let it bother her too much. I mean, at the beginning it does, and you can really see Adele's concern for her, but then as the story goes on, she really picks up the pieces and moves on, which I really liked. So yeah, this was really good. And because Robin Carr has been like, and I've seen other people talk about this too, she's been kind of like hit or miss for me. I've tried a couple, like 3 or 4 of or maybe 2 or 3 of the Virgin River series. I didn't like them much at all. Her other series I like, I can't, the name escapes me. It was set in like the Colorado country. I like that series, and then this one I liked. But yeah, so if you have read the Virgin River series and you didn't like it, or maybe you did, then yeah, you would probably like this one as well. And as I mentioned with the Tahoe, Half Moon Bay, I visited as well, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous area. And I really like this picture as well. I read it for the Light versus Dark romance readathon that's being hosted over this weekend, and because it fit for like the blue, white, and gold cover. So yeah, this was really nice. So those are all the books sorry for the shaking camera. These are all the books I read this past week. It was 10 books in total, so I think I'm doing good with reading, because I'm not doing anything else. Yesterday, on Saturday, we finally got out of the house for a bit. We didn't go into any stores or anything like that, because I'm avoiding that completely. But we went on a drive to the Raleigh-Durham area to Greensboro, which is west of us, like an hour and a half west of us, and so we like a country old route there, and then we took the highway back, and just to see, you know, other places, and we stopped at a like a park that was like outside of Greensboro, like 30 minutes outside, so we knew there wouldn't be many people there, even though it was a Saturday, which was nice, because the dog got to, you know, smell the new smells over there, and it was just really nice to spend the day. It wasn't as hot, like today's like 80, 85, but yesterday it was like a nice 75 degrees, and yeah, it was just really nice to see some of the countryside, and yeah, and get out of this apartment for a bit, but yeah, thanks. I'll see you soon, book 2.